Monica, for you, I will. So, of course, things continue to devolve and percolate a little bit over the weekend regarding the Gayle King interview. I will say this: if you're a black man, two things you want to avoid is a documentary and a Gayle King interview. Nobody survives those. I'll say this: it was wrong for Snoop to call her names, and what amounted to was tantamount to a threat. It was also wrong for Susan Rice, who has never said, who is the former national security advisor, who's been relatively silent when Donald Trump has run roughshod over female reporters, weigh in on this. So, and she did what amounted to the same thing she was angry at Snoop for doing, which is making a threat. And then it disturbs me when people act as if it's a moral failing of black people. Mitt Romney is being threatened right now because of his stance. Threatening people that you're politically opposed to or just opposed to, period, in America is what generally happens. Hank Aaron was going to break a home run record. They wanted to kill him. A black person to the moon, they wanted to kill him. So that's kind of what happens, and I think it speaks more about who we are as a society than any individual group. And I will say this. I saw Gayle's response to the backlash. And I saw Oprah's follow-up to that response. And Gayle, very heartfelt, was talking about how, she hadn't been able to sleep. And if you saw the interview, it would give you context. And I remember Oprah, when asked, she said Gayle's not doing well. The only thing that was missing from both of those situations, Gayle responding to the backlash she was getting, and of course Oprah coming to the aid of her friend, which you would hope anyone would do, was instead of saying Gayle's not doing well, what Gayle has gone through and is going through pales in comparison to what the family of Kobe Bryant is going through. And I think it would have done a long way to assuage a lot of the anger had they prefaced it with saying, I feel bad about what's going to me, but worse about that. A little empathy would have gone a long way toward turning the heat down. I know you've been up all night, Gayle. I know it's horrible. I know you have to hire guards. I know it's terrible. But as bad as that is, it isn't as bad as having to get 2 caskets. As bad as that is, it isn't like finding your life in shambles in a day. So, of course, you can lament what goes on with you, but have a little empathy for the people who really have suffered. Those families, not just the Bryant family, but the other families who are involved in that tragedy. When Oprah came on TV and did the interview and cried, she said she's not doing well. Neither is Vanessa Bryant. I'm not saying you shouldn't come to the aid of your friends. I'm not saying that you shouldn't lament your circumstances. But empathy for someone else would have gone a long way toward turning the temperature down. You stayed up all night crying. I guarantee you Vanessa Bryant and those other family members have done the same thing. Gayle's not doing well. I guarantee you Vanessa Bryant and those other families are not doing well either. There's the situation when something happened and it's me, what about me? And it happened to me, and what about me? As bad as what you are going through is, the sun will rise from this situation. You will go on from this situation. You may learn from this situation and be even better because of this situation. You know what happened? Miss Bryant and Mrs. Bryant and those family members who lost people in that helicopter crash will never see them again. And that's worse than getting threats on Twitter or somebody saying something mean to you. And I'm not saying you can't lament your circumstances, but have a little empathy for other people's circumstances. You got on TV and cried for your friend. That family deserves a few tears and a few words of encouragement, too. That's a little note from the GED section. Got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.